Hi everyone, welcome to the channel of Political Science Tutorials. In this video, we are going to discuss about a revolutionary, versatile and unmatched Indian political thinker and philosopher, M.N. Roy. Roy was influenced by militant nationalists when he was a student and actively participated in armed revolution. Then, in his youth, he was a radical activist following the ideology of socialism, and afterwards, he leaned towards communism. In his latter stage of life, he devoted himself as a political theorist and philosopher and developed the theory of new humanism. If we go through Roy's personal biography, every stage of his life was full of events, and as a versatile politician, thinker, and philosopher, he tried his best to cope up with every situation with determination. Here, one request, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and press the bell icon for the notification of next videos. All videos in this channel have been uploaded with complete notes. So request you to watch till the end and share your views in the comment box. Roy wrote many books, but in this slide I will mention some of his notable writings. Scientific Politics, published in the year 1942, New Orientation, published in the year 1946, Beyond Communism, Science and Philosophy, New Humanism, a Manifesto, published in 1947, Reason, Romanticism and Revolution, published in the year 1952. The topic has been divided in two parts, part 1 and part 2. The topics about M.N. Roy, which will be addressed in part 1, these are Roy's early life, activities in abroad, Roy-Lenin debate, formation of Indian Communist Party. And in part 2, we will discuss about Roy's role in Indian national movement and concept of new humanism. To start with M.N. Roy's personal biography, he was not Manobendranath Roy till the age of 29. He was born in a village named Arbelia of North 24 Parganas, a district of West Bengal. His original name was Narendranath Bhattacharya. His early schooling started at Arbelia in his native village. Later, he shifted to Harinavi Anglo Sanskrit School. In the year 1905, when he was in high school, the movement against partition of Bengal started. You know, this was a plan of British government to divide Bengal province, and the people of Bengal was against this partition. Roy organized a meeting and marched in support of the movement. For this reason, he was expelled from the school. After that, he moved to Kolkata and joined Anusilan Samiti, which was a radical organization with firm determination to end the British rule by revolutionary means. Roy actively participated to execute some plans which were chalked out by the organization. But this organization was banned by British government. Then he joined another revolutionary group called Jugantar Group under the leadership of Jatin Mukherjee. He also formed a band of free thinkers with his cousins and friends in his school life. He was a born revolutionary. In the year 1915, Roy started his journey to procure arms for organizing an insurrection to overthrow the British rule. So, Roy left India in the year 1915 and reached in Indonesia. Then moved from country to country using fake passports and different names to secure arms for organizing an armed revolution. And that time, as Germany was rival power of Great Britain, so he tried to procure arms from Germany and help the revolutionaries to overthrow the British rule. But his attempts to secure arms ended in a failure. In the year 1916, he landed in the United States of America. But he tracked by British intelligence when he landed at San Francisco. In a local newspaper, a report published headlined, "Mysterious Alien Reaches America, Famous Brahmin Revolutionary or Dangerous German Spy." Publication of this news indicated that at any time he can be arrested. So, he was forced to flee south to Palo Alto, California. Here he changed his name from Narendranath Bhattacharya and became Manobendranath Roy. So, in the year 1916, at the age of 29, Manobendranath Rai became Manobendranath Rai. Before that, he was Narendranath Bhattacharya. And after 1916, the world knows this great revolutionary activist, political thinker and philosopher as M.N. Roy. From this very year, 1916, his activities started as an expatriate and his life took him to the countries like United States, Mexico, Russia and Germany, and he tried to cope up with different political variations. So, fear of being arrested, he had to flee south to Palo Alto, California. When the matter seemed to be settled, he came to New York and make friendship with some American radicals and started to study about socialism, but not for long days. In this very year, America participated in First World War and Roy was arrested for his anti-colonial leanings. But he jumped the bail and escaped to Mexico. In Mexico, he founded the Mexican Communist Party in the year 1917. As he was already convinced with the doctrine of socialism when he was in America, so in Mexico, as a supporter of socialism, he tried to make people convinced about the advantages of socialist type of state and founded the Mexican Communist Party. He was also the founder of the Communist Party of India. Later, I am coming in this topic. So, till now, about M.N. Roy, we have seen that from a militant political activist, he became a socialist. Again, his life took a new turn in the year 1919. In the year 1919, Roy met with Mikhail Borodin, an emissary of the Communist International, and accepted the materialist philosophy of Marxism and became a full-fledged communist. In the year 1920, Roy was invited to Moscow to attend the second conference of the Communist International. And the following years marked by Roy's rapid rise in the international communist hierarchy. In the year 1920, when he was invited to be a member of Comintern, he joined the organization in Moscow. And before attending the conference, he had several meetings with Lenin. Lenin prepared a draft thesis on the national and colonial question, and M.N. Roy was requested to comment on it. Here you can see an international personality like Lenin in the communist world was influenced by the logic of M.N. Roy at that extent that he invited him to comment on his thesis, and it marked the influential role of Roy in the Comintern. As M.N. Roy was critical to Lenin's view on national and colonial question, Lenin invited him to write an alternative thesis. And here starts the famous Roy-Lenin debate. There were of disagreement in many points with Roy and Lenin, but the main point of disagreement was Lenin viewed that communist parties in colonial areas must assist bourgeois democratic liberation movement. But Roy was in view that countries like India, where there is an absence of reliable nationalist movements, here he meant Indian National Congress is not reliable, and the Comintern will concentrate upon to assist exclusively the institution and development of the communist movement, and the indigenous communist parties or groups will be in the front line. It is safe to avoid the entanglements or relying potentially reactionary bourgeois nationalist leaders. In simple language, you can say Roy opposed alliances with certain bourgeois democratic movements led by Indian National Congress. As a result of Roy's criticisms, Comintern was counseled to support revolutionary movements of liberation rather than bourgeois democratic liberation movements. In his supplementary thesis, Roy claimed that the real strength of the liberation movement is no longer confined to the narrow circle of bourgeois democratic nationalists. In most of the colonies, there already exist organized revolutionary parties. So, in Roy's view, as in country like India, there is already existing organized revolutionary parties. So, there is no need to ally with bourgeois democratic nationalists. In his mind, it was National Congress, and he was not in favor to make ally with Congress party. Roy's focus was on communist revolution, and in his thesis he recommended a modified agrarian program of land reform and urged that peasants and workers' Soviets be organized as soon as possible. After his debate with Lenin, Roy's position in Comintern hierarchy rose and went on to become an international ranking communist leader. In the year 1922, he was elected a candidate member of the Executive Committee of the Communist International (ECCI) and a full voting member in 1924. He became a member of the Presidium in 1924. Roy attained the peak of his influence in the Comintern in the year 1926. In the year 1926, Roy became secretary of the Chinese Commission and sent to China as a representative of Comintern. But in 1927, the events in China shattered his influence and his mission in China ended in failure. And in 1929, he was formally expelled from the Comintern. His formal career as a member of Comintern ended in the year 1929. Now, we will discuss about Roy's role in the formation of Communist Party of India. From 1920, the years in which he was working as an active member of the Comintern, he also established contact with communist world and converted Indian revolutionaries into communists. With the help and guidelines of Comintern, Roy founded the Indian Communist Party. As an international communist leader, Lenin was in search for a future communist leader for the East and especially for India. He was happy that he could rely on M.N. Roy for training of future communist leaders of India. A military and political school was founded in Tashkent in the year 1920. The revolutionaries in abroad was trained for future revolution and liberation movement in India. The seven bureau members, including Roy, at the first meeting on 17th October of 1920, adopted the party's name as the Indian Communist Party. Roy was very much enthusiastic to introduce the concept of communism in India, and what he suggested, the communist revolution. He met the revolutionaries abroad and convinced them that the liberation of India is possible by following the path of communist revolution. In the early 1920s, Nalini Gupta, Samsuda and Ajodhya Prasad were the first communists who reached India and began to spread the concept of communism and how it will be attained by revolution. Under the leadership of M.N. Roy, small communist group was founded in Kolkata, Banaras and Kanpur. For him, national liberation was primary and social liberation was secondary, because the release of all the forces of social production is the first step towards the ultimate realization of our program, which is the end of class domination. Means forces of social production should be released first, and then it will be possible to end the class domination and it will be possible to attain the goal of social liberation. It can be said that in the context of growing nationalism, Indian communism played an important role to organize the workers and the peasantry to work for the cause of national movements. The ideology of communism played a significant role to stimulate the struggle of Indian people for national freedom, and at the same time the ideology of communism guided them for social advancement. Till now we have discussed about M.N. Roy's activities as a militant and activities in abroad, as an influential member of Comintern and his role in founding of the Communist Party of India. In the year 1930, Roy came back to India and arrested in the year 1931. A new chapter started in Roy's life. He turned himself from a devoted communist to a new humanist. In the part 2, it has been a discussion about his theory of new humanism. Request you to watch the part 2 the video about M.N. Roy and his theory of new humanism. Thanks for watching.